John's about to educate me on fucking anything.
No. What is Coriolis?
Well, you don't know. I don't know.
Dresden, break it down for us.
No, Chemo, man, you don't even know what fluid head is. So,
I don't claim to profess to know anything. I'm asking questions.
I'm a flat earther. I don't make any claims.
That's right. We're asking questions about Coriolis. What is it, and how do you?
So I don't make any measurements. So there's that.
Give me a break.
Sounds like Pilates. I don't know what the hell.
This is just hilarious. Oh man.
Coriolis.
It's just interesting that like weather systems and predictions.
No one go to high school in
Coriolis
this place?
into account.
We went to high school.
It
Flat
depends.
earthers went to high school, but they didn't pay
It looks like Globe has never went to high school, even though we don't have high school here. But yeah. So if you know Dresden, what Coriolis is, do you want to explain it?
Give us the fucking short.
No, I'm not going to explain it because you don't even know what fluid head is.
This dude's done.
Chemo, you don't even know what fluid head is. Like, so we don't have a common.
I don't need to know any of these things. You are the one that needs to know these things.
You don't know what fluid head is.
I don't need to know any of these things.
I thought you were my ally, but you're my foe.
It was you who made the claim, so you back up and defend and what you're defining.
I wasn't the one who said shit about Coriolis to begin with.
Like I say, Flat Earthers are not claiming anything. We're here
who is
Fluid
Head?
Here to be educated by the intelligent globe earthers.
Chemo claiming anything except that the Earth is flat.
Fluid Head. Chemo is Fluid
We
Head.
fucking all are like, yo, it's flat as fuck. But what else?
Your assertion is that the Earth is flat, and it's hilariously false.
Yes, because no one's measured
There's a quick
curvature.
explanation of Coriolis yoga.
If no one's measured curvature, if the Earth's not curving, what is it?
Oh my God, Chemo.
Yeah, nobody. Some people just agree that it's flat and don't give a fuck about curvature.
Do we need to start talking about fluid dynamics again, dude? Like,
what is fluid dynamics?
That's a really good question. Why don't you go to school to figure
scientist.
it out?
I don't. Here, let me Google it. What did you say?
Fluid dynamics. What is fluid? Dresden, break it down for us. Fluid dynamics.
Let me learn for myself.
Oh, Chemo.
Fluid dynamics.
I'm not gonna. You have no idea
I'm not gonna buy into your.
Nobody ever said that we come in here and we have to talk about science.
Joan, hush.
Why would we have to talk about all this science? This is
Hey,
science
one at a
class?
time. One at a time, you lot. Come on, it's getting messy.
Go on, Joan. Give us the breakdown. Find out the definition, because these guys have no idea.
It's one at a fucking time, and nobody came in here wanting to learn about damn science.
Yeah, but now we've got to study fluid dynamics.
Yeah, because this is a flat Earth debate, so nobody wants to learn about science.
Another part of the model that needs explaining: fluid dynamics. Let's have a look.
Jesus, I just Google it and it's got all these fucking spears and shit.
Type in fluid dynamics definition, and then you get the definition.
What a joke.
Type in the word definition after.
What an absolute joke. This
all
is
right, doing it.
All right.
A branch of mathematics and physics concerned with the description and study of the flow of liquids and gases.
Okay, so what does that tell us about the globe?
It tells us
what
that
does it say about the globe in there?
Hey,
Chemo. I was
going
to chalk it up just to
Dresden, hang on, guys. Dresden, can you use push to talk? Because you keep making a noise when someone's talking.
I know, you keep on laughing.
It's difficult to
I'm laughing. I'm sorry. This is
can you use push to talk when you laugh? So we don't have to hear you laughing. Can you use push to talk when you laugh so we don't have to hear your laughing blocking out what everyone else is saying?
Right.
Penis.
I'm sorry. Who's asking me to do that?
It's was, mate. It's me.
All right.
The Australian bloke.
Fair. Sorry, dude. All right, fair.
Dude, I like him.
Thank you.
So yeah, Joan, what we got? Fluid dynamics. Where does it say globe? Anywhere near that?
Nowhere near it does it say globe. But if I was going to chalk this up to just an overall thesis of the night, I'd be like, this just straight up means the Earth is flat.
Fair enough. So, Dresden, what have you got to prove fluid dynamics meaning globe?
Dude, are you really asking me to rehash this entire conversation from yesterday? Because we can do that, certainly.
Dude, I speak to a lot of people. Forgive me if I can't remember who you are and what we spoke about.
Oh, Christ.
Chemo, you speak to a lot of people. You should probably keep track of those conversations so you're not having the same conversations when you get proved wrong.
Chemo, dude, you're the one who doesn't even know what fluid head is.
Okay, so fluid head, Joan, do you want to define that for us?
Fluid head?
No, there's no phone a friend here, Chemo. If you're going to ask me a question...
Pen or head?
Fluid,
nope.
Fluid head.
Time out.
And then
time out, Chemo. If this is a discussion
like
this is a discussion between you and me, Joan is not
is the height of the column
of the or fluid head?
HEAD is what I put.
Fluid head.
Fluid head is the height of a column of a fluid exerting on its base a pressure equal to the pressure in question. That's just like in and of itself annoying. I don't get that.
In and of itself annoying because you don't understand.
What is a fluid head?
Problem.
Right, Dresden, break it down. What is a fluid head?
No, Chemo. Since you are apparently an expert in fluid dynamics.
Oh my gosh!
So why don't you explain it?
I don't know.
Chemo.
I didn't know we were going to like science quiz today, but like.
Chemo, no,
really
man.
Like
You are apparently an expert in fluid dynamics. Somebody told me that you were like.
If anything, I think most of it's probably BS.
Oh my god! Can
Joan,
somebody mute her?
Joan,
you realize that?
Joan, and Dresden, can you please be aware of each other's talking? It's very difficult to follow a conversation.
I'm trying to have a conversation with
No, I can hear that, mate. I can hear you, Dresden. But Joan keeps talking over you with some inane words. So can you please be aware of other people talking?
Well, I muted him, so I have no idea when he's talking.
Don't do that. If you mute him, I'll have to mute you because you're just making a mess of this whole thing.
All right, mute me.
That's just cute.
I don't want to mute you. You can control yourself.
He's unbearable. He's unbearable.
Hilarious. Unbearable because I actually understand things. Yep. Cool.
You can kick me out and ban me? I
don't need to do that, Joan. Come on.
But we're just going to break down all we're doing is looking for the definitions of when a globus says something. We're on the same page.
Yeah, I understand it, Spurs, but I can't hear when people are talking over each other when they're trying to answer that.
Yeah, and it's a simple rule to not let other people like. Shouldn't be a problem.
Fair enough.
A bit of self-control.
Free country.
No, Woz is right. So, Dresden, do you want to explain then where fluid head and got the other but how does this prove we're on a globe?
Oh man! So you literally don't understand what fluid head is, though. Is what you're telling me.
Well, we just got a definition for it. I can't remember.
But you listen to the definition as Joan recited it, but you don't understand what it is yet.
No, what does it mean? Explain it to us.
Why don't you try to explain it to me? Because you listen to the definition.
I don't get
and apparently you still don't understand it.
Dresden,
what does that
Dresden, he didn't understand it. You'll need to explain it to him.
Explain it to me, yeah.
Fluid head is essentially the amount of pressure that's exerted on a column of fluid at a certain point based on the specific gravity of that fluid. Okay. Do you understand what that means?
An example would be better, practical.
So
it did start with Joan did start.
All right,
so
an example of fluid head is the atmospheric gradient. Do you understand what the atmospheric gradient is?
So you're saying the atmosphere gets thinner and thinner as we go higher.
The atmospheric pressure gets lower and lower as we go higher.
Yeah, so that gets thinner and thinner, yeah?
To the contrary, if you submerge something in water, the pressure gets greater and greater as you go deeper and deeper into the water. Do you understand how that works?
Yeah, that's water.
Yeah, that's the principle of fluid head, though.
Yeah, but without the container, how will it have pressure?
A container doesn't matter because a fluid head it exists regardless of the diameter of the container that it's in. So fluid head exists regardless of what size the container is. So if the container is infinitely large, fluid head exists regardless. So your container argument is immaterial. No, your container argument is immaterial. It doesn't matter how large the container is.
Are you saying a
right, Dresden, let Chemo sum up his understanding of it. Please go ahead,
But he doesn't understand it, so how can he sum it?
Well, let him prove he doesn't understand it.
Does a raindrop,
mate. He's got to
does a raindrop have fluid head?
There you go. He doesn't understand it.
I'm sorry. What did you say?
Does a raindrop have fluid head?
No.
Why?
Because the raindrop is in free fall.
No container.
Container's got nothing to do with it.
The container has nothing to do with it. It's in free fall.
But when it hits the ocean, then it will have...
If you had a balloon full of water, which is in a container, it's in free fall. There's no fluid head, essentially.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So when it goes into the container, then we'll have fluid head.
No, I just demonstrated an example where there's a container with no fluid head.
What? How?
In a balloon, if you have a balloon full of water, which is a container, would you disagree?
Balloon's a container, yeah.
Is a balloon a container? Okay, if a balloon is in free fall that is full of water, there's no fluid head.
Is the balloon filled up to the top?
Yes. Yes. It is full of water. I said that multiple times.
What about gas?
There's zero. It doesn't matter because gas is a fluid, liquid is a fluid.
No, but I'm saying, would there be
just to clarify, Dresden, there's no air bubbles in this balloon, right? It's just water.
It doesn't matter whether there's air bubbles or not.
No, I know it doesn't matter, but just to clarify that point.
Okay, just to pander to him. Okay.
Yes.
You're right. There are no air bubbles.
In this water.
There are no fluid bubbles aside from liquid that exist inside this balloon.
All right. So if there's gas in the balloon, will there be a fluid head?
Is it in free fall?
The balloon.
Is it in free fall?
What, going up or down? Which do you mean?
Are you serious right now?
Well,
yes,
balloons can go up.
What gas
can go
is
down.
in the balloons? What gas is in the balloon?
Helium.
It's fluid. It's water. It's water.
Hang on, Dresden. A balloon full of helium. Does it have a fluid head?
I mean, no, it doesn't.
No.
Because it's essentially weightless and it's floating upward. There's no fluid head. I mean, if you look at it in an infinitesimal scale, there would be a very, very minute amount of fluid head.
Let's say we got that balloon full of air.
It would be so insignificant that you couldn't
that.
even measure it.
You've said that. So the balloon is not falling. The balloon's on the ground. Now, does the balloon have fluid head?
Yes.
Why?
Because there's a normal force exerted on the balloon and on the fluid.
What force?
Pushing upward. The floor. The floor is the normal force. Have you ever drawn a free body diagram of anything
I'm
ever?
saying we've got the balloon of water. It's now on the floor. You're saying it now has a fluid head.
Chemo, before we proceed, can you answer my question?
Answer my question.
No. This is very relevant. This is very relevant, Chemo. Have you ever drawn a free body diagram of anything?
I'm trying to figure out this fluid head when it works. So the balloon's on the floor.
Nope.
Dresden, he's not understanding it, mate. He needs a bit more clarification.
So the balloon's on the floor with water in it. Now there is fluid head.
Yes, because there's a normal force pushing upward. Now because the fluid is now no longer in free fall,
mm-hmm.
it has a normal force that's producing a weight on the fluid, right?
I don't know. You take the balloon off the ground, no fluid head, put it on the ground, fluid head.
This sort of pedantic circular questioning is just very frustrating. Do you know what a free body diagram is?
No, what is it?
Oh, Christ. I mean, how can we even proceed with somebody who doesn't understand this sort of thing?
By demonstrating what you're saying.
Now you're starting to get it, Dresden. Now you're starting to understand.
No, I completely understand. It's just like the...
Well,
dude, this isn't my first conversation with a flat earther. I've had this conversation before. There's no common ground. They don't get it. They're like,
no, we don't get it. Is that we don't know what you're talking about? Can you demonstrate what you're talking about?
You don't know what we're talking about. That's why we can't have this conversation.
Like a foreign language. So
seriously.
You could have a demonstration where any language could understand that demonstration. So instead of talking gibberish, demonstrate what you're talking about.
I do not underestimate the ignorance of the Fleurs. I just try to expose it.
We could take a flat Earth demonstration of saying water's flat to any country and not even speak. Every country would understand.
Well, you've never done that.
Because you don't understand. Because you don't understand it.
What do you have that is universal? What do you have that is universal for every country without speaking?
Physics and mathematics. Mathematics is the universal language of literally everything.
But it's not practical.
How is it not practical?
So let's see what practical then.
Mathematics is what's used to model literally everything in the world.
So let's see.
How is that not practical? So you've literally never done anything in mathematics before, ever. Period.
No.
No, you can't do maths.
That's fair. Okay.
You have, though, right?
How do we perceive that?
Is that you have. Yeah?
So here,
come on, Spurs. You're just running them around.
That you have, right? Because I didn't, but you did.
Chemo.
Later.
Here are the things that you can do with mathematics. You can, first of all, demonstrate how deep an object will immerse itself in water before becoming neutrally buoyant. You can do that with mathematics and physics.
Okay, but can you demonstrate you on a ball with mathematics?
Can you tell me how far an object will immerse itself in water based on your understanding of density and buoyancy? No, you cannot.
No.
I can tell you how far it will submerge itself.
Can you demonstrate?
Based on my understanding of gravity and buiancy and density.
Can you demonstrate this force of gravity?
Yes, you can.
How?
It's been done before.
How?
This is not new to you, my friend.
Go on, and how? Instead of just talking gibberish, make it universal.
Dude, there's a number. We've talked about this the other night. There's multiple different experiments from Cavendish to Merkowitz and Grundbach. They've developed an approximation for the gravitational constant. This is not new. I know you're not a stranger to this sort of rhetoric, but you just deny it because that's the flat Earth playbook. I don't know this because
has been fucking debunked in the last 2-3 years for sure.
Absolutely.
He just goes back to the same points.
Bingo.
He's a troll.
Because that is the only thing that the flat earthers have is denial.
When did you guys debunk flat Earth?
Oh my god.
When did that happen?
Space.
Oh dear.
This guy here.
You guys were paying attention, but I did post things about navigation that showed that things got more accurate as we accounted.
I hate to say this,
but
this guy sounds handicapped.
Fundy muting me. So
I answered you. Every time you make a claim, we debunk it.
So when did you guys debunk?
Hey, I just answered.
Constantly, repeatedly, all the time.
How?
And
so going to space.
Who said how? Who said how?
Well, someone said going to space. So how does going to space? What does that do?
Even without going to space.
I mean, you guys are always talking about trust your senses.
This dude sounds like he's high as fuck. So he's been.
Yeah, but he always sounds like that. That's Merle. He always sounds high as fuck.
What happens in space?
Space things.
Lots of cool stuff.
Right.
For example?
Well, astronauts get to go on spacewalks on the ISS.
$50 million a day of them wasting our tax dollars.
Oh my god, are you really going to $50 million a day is pennies compared to the damn budget.
Farmer's boy with your English accent.
If anybody could tell, it was me joking.
Trying to talk like an Englishman.
Chemo, I am English.
No, Dresden is talking like an Englishman.
Well, he can talk how he likes.
Yeah, I was patronizing you fucking twat.
No, you're patronising Farmer's Boy and myself and anyone from the UK.
No,
I'm not patronising you.
Chemo, don't ever speak for me. Do not ever speak on my behalf because you're a twat.
Well, you're mocking farmers.
No, he's not.
Sounds more like you than me.
Stop lying. Oh, sorry,
again.
that's like asking
your
you to
English
stop
accent
breathing.
again. Dresden.
We're getting a little off point here, boys and girls.
No, right. Is it really necessary for me to do another accent?
No. Not necessary. Okay, so we're looking for evidence of Mel's question. How do you know that we're not enough?
No, you're not. You're not looking for evidence at all because every time it's presented to you, you disregard it.
Actually, Merle, the big poof, didn't ask that.
He did. He said, how do we know it's not flat? So, Dresden, how do we know the Earth is not flat?
He asked where it was debunked.
Yeah.
Yeah, when have you debunked the flat Earth, Dresden?
Constantly.
When?
No,
one example.
Chemo, why are you picking on me, man? Like, there are many other people in here. You just like me. And Chemo's got a hard on for me for some reason.
I do like you. You're a friendly guy.
It's because he doesn't understand what fluid head is, and I like to point that out whenever I can.
Yeah, so I'd like you to explain.
Yeah, something I also noticed is he doesn't understand how triangulation works, and he thinks
doesn't understand head.
I don't understand any of these things. They need demonstrating. What's the problem with demonstrating something?
Chemo, I'm honestly, can you please just answer one question for me?
Sure.
Do you have any formal experience or education in fluid dynamics?
No.
It's not about me.
He doesn't.
It's not about me.
I was about the question.
You can't answer a question.
It's clear that he doesn't.
Chemo, the answer is no.
No.
Repeat after me. No.
I know that. I know. But why can't he just say that?
Well, because it's not about me. It's not about what I know or what I don't know.
Why can't you just admit to not having any experience or formal education in fluid dynamics?
It's not about
why can't you make your point? Why can't you make your point, explain, define as you go along? Are you not smart enough to teach him?
I've made a point. We've talked about fluid head. We've talked about some fluid dynamics.
Chiming in again.
It doesn't seem like you've made your point at all.
Why don't you make a point, percentage?
He's asking for demonstration. You're not able to do it. You're asking him random questions. You're not giving the answers.
What kind of demonstration are you asking me for? Let's hear the guidelines of your requirements here. Come on. Let's hear it.
Do you have hearing problems too? I said he's asking for demonstrations from you.
No, he didn't actually ask for any demonstrations. He did.
Yes, he did, like 7 times.
Claim. Absolutely, I've said it over and over again.
What claim have I made?
Claiming that we're on a board.
What claim have I made that claim?
You're claiming gravity of force is
have I literally ever made that claim? Like
you claimed fluid head.
I claimed fluid head exists. Yes.
In the atmosphere.
And it does. And Chemo doesn't understand that, so it's not like I can prove it to somebody who doesn't understand
in the atmosphere, then.
Fluid head, dude. Oh, holy shit! What more do I need to do to demonstrate that fluid head exists? Look at water.
The atmosphere, not water. We live in water.
Dude, fluid. Oh, okay. So are you trying to tell me that water is exempt from being fluid?
No, I'm saying, do we live in water? You're describing water.
Is air a fluid?
Yes.
Is water a fluid?
Yes.
Is it an incompressible
describe to me the difference in how they function.
One has intermolecular bonds.
If they're both fluids.
One has intermolecular bonds and the other doesn't. Gases don't. Gases don't bond.
They both have intermolecular bonds.
What?
Gases don't bond.
Are you kidding me?
Gases move freely.
Holy shit! So fluid.
God, are you do you think? Hold on. Let me ask a question. Do you think water is a rubbery substance, which its particles remain the same distance from each other? Because you just said water's a fluid, right? And fluids and gases, or liquids and gases, both being fluids, particles are free roaming. They take the shape of their container, all that kind of stuff.
They're in different states.
Okay.
Does
that omit the molecules of water from moving freely?
It changes what they do. Yes, gases.
So explain to us how they change what they do.
Sorry.
So a cup of coffee, is it hottest at the top or at the bottom?
At the bottom.
Is it?
Wrong.
That's where the highest pressure would be.
Wrong.
Oh dear.
No, I said hottest, not highest pressure.
Well, in a container, high pressure and high temperature go hand in hand.
No.
False. Actually, when you pressurize a gas in a container, in like a nitrogen bottle, it gets colder.
Temperature actually reduces when you pressurize a fluid.
Yes. It's almost like the molecules have less free moving space.
There's more energy there.
No.
More pressure, more energy.
It's the same amount of energy, there's more pressure, less temperature. Do you understand what enthalpy is?
No, he doesn't.
No.
They screw up the
They're moving a lot
dynamics.
faster at the bottom.
See, this is why we can't have a conversation legitimately with any flat earther, because they don't understand fluid dynamics or.
He's right. If you have a
Who's right?
Chemo's right. If you have a specific volume, you increase pressure, increase temperature, increases pressure. They go hand in hand.
No.
Wrong.
Yes, PV equals nRT, ideal gas law.
So hold on, are you saying at the bottom is... Hold on, Dresden, hold on.
He's trying to say that if you have a coffee...
Hold on a second.
Nope. What he's trying to say is that the ideal gas law applies to a coffee mug, which is not true, because for the ideal gas law to apply, you have a specific volume, which is held constant, which is not true for a coffee mug.
I just said a specific volume, he's correct. You guys are saying that never happens if you have a specific volume. I think it was...
For a coffee mug. Are we talking about a coffee mug or a specific volume?
Percent, you come in the middle of the conversation.
No, well, Hellfire got away from that and said, no,
are we
in a
talking
container.
about a specific volume or a coffee mug?
One of y'all said container.
Are we talking about a specific volume or a coffee mug percentage?
We were talking about a coffee mug in the beginning, and then someone said a container.
So we're talking about a coffee mug. Thank you.
Is a coffee mug?
We're talking about a coffee mug.
I said take the shape of the container. That's all I said.
Bingo.
You guys need to get on the same page.
No, you need to learn physics.
So you're saying the gases at the bottom outside are colder at the bottom?
No, the fluid
because
is
he
cooler
radiates
at the
off
bottom.
the damn ground that it gets toasted by the sun. So that's a different thing.
Yes, but the pressure gradient that you say you have, where is the temperature the highest?
Towards the surface where heat is radiating off of the surface.
Right at the bottom, yeah?
Yeah.
Top.
It's the hottest at the top because heat rises. Do you understand how heat rises?
Heat rises and cools at the same time, you fucking idiot.
Oh, I'm a fucking idiot because I understand fluid dynamics and thermodynamics.
In fact,
we're talking atmosphere versus a
because
coffee mug.
Chemo's
We're talking atmosphere versus a coffee mug. In the atmosphere, yes, it rises, but there's less pressure, so it does expand, it does cool, and that's how you get the tumbling effect and make cumulonimbus clouds and all that weather effect and all that kind of stuff. But if we're talking strictly temperature, there's heat radiating off the surface of the Earth and water, and that's why it's warmer down low. As you get higher, outside of where we fly, really, you start getting the thermal effects again, where things are getting a little bit hotter. But particles are also spread apart further, so transmitting that heat doesn't happen as readily as it does at the surface.
It went totally over their heads.
Yeah,
I guess. But anyway, coffee mug.
Your claim.
He rises in a coffee mug. He rises in your house. So
we're talking about your claim. I don't understand what you're trying to argue, so I'm just gonna go back to the claim I think you made.
Yeah, the claim that you're talking about, fluid head outside in the atmosphere.
You keep coming back to fluid head, dude. You keep coming back to fluid head, Chemo. Sorry, go ahead, Hellfire.
Let me ask you a question. I know you're going to be like, well, that's water. It's different. What creates the pressure gradient in a pool of water? Let's just talk strictly pool of water, indoor pool.
Now we're all over the place. Let's talk about gases, is what we were talking about in the
We were talking about fluids, not gases, for one.
Well, yeah, we're talking about the atmosphere.
Gases are fluids. Time out. Can I interject?
Go ahead.
Gases are fluids. So what's the difference between a gas and a liquid?
They're in different states.
That's wrong. They're both fluids.
Fluid dynamics.
They are both types of fluids.
They are still in different states.
Do you understand what the different types of fluids are?
So you're saying liquid and gases are the same.
No, they're not the same, but they're both types of fluids.
So we're not talking about
water. Chemo.
Why are they not the same?
Chemo. Do you understand
why are liquids and gases not the same?
Can I ask you a question without you interrupting?
Yeah, when you answer why they're not the same, you said they're not the same. Why?
They're not the same because they're different types of fluids. Do you understand what different types of fluids are?
So we're talking about one fluid and a different type of fluid, yeah? Gas.
Yes, because there are different types of fluids. Do you understand?
Fluid, exactly.
Do time out. do you understand that there are different types of fluids?
So that's what we're just establishing now. There are different types of fluids. So there's one type.
Okay, so
like
can you tell me what the different types of fluids are?
One is a gas, one is a liquid.
They're both fluids. What separates them?
One being a liquid, and one being a gas.
Wrong.
I think what he's getting at is what is the behavior
that is what separates them. Water
That's
is not
not
gas.
what separates them. One is a fluid and the other's a fluid. What differentiates the two?
One being a gas, one being a liquid.
Wrong.
So what differentiates them?
One is for all intents and purposes incompressible, and the other is compressible.
Why is that?
And this is how we distinguish. This is how we distinguish between fluids. Okay.
Yeah, why is that?
Can you listen to me for a second?
You
please?
said this is how we distinguish between the two, and asking why.
Can you please? I'm getting to that. If you'll just shut the fuck up for a second. God damn it.
Go on then.
Are you serious?
Go on, man. Explain.
Allow it.
So we distinguish between the different types of fluids because they behave differently in certain circumstances. So we have fluids which are incompressible, which are water essentially, and other
incompressible.
You can model it as though it is.
Yeah, but it's not actually.
Okay, so all right. So now that you've made that claim, can you tell me what the density variation is?
Trying to get away from your point.
Doesn't matter. It's not incompressible.
Chemo, stop it. Chemo,
incompressible
stop it.
means there's no difference in density.
Percentage, stop it.
And there actually is.
Stop it.
Don't listen to percentage. He is pure troll.
You could say it's almost incompressible.
Doesn't let him get to it. Just ignore him.
Stop. Because he knows
he's up here.
I didn't say anything wrong. He's the one that said something wrong. Water is not incompressible.
I didn't say something wrong.
Yes, you did. You said water's incompressible.
Can you listen to my question? Listen to my question then.
Okay.
What is the percentage of difference in density in water for 1,000 psi difference?
I'll answer your question by asking you one. Is there a difference?
Oh my God!
You're asking what's the percentage of difference? Is there a difference?
Okay, I'm just gonna mute.
That's what I thought.
I'm just gonna mute this
No,
guy because he's an idiot.
It's not incompressible. If there's any difference, even if it's 0.05% or 0.01% or whatever,
it doesn't matter.
It's still
I said for all intents and purposes, you can model water as though it's an incompressible fluid.
And I said it's not actually incompressible.
But do you disagree with me in my assertion? Do you disagree with my assertion that you can model it as an incompressible fluid?
You can model anything anyway because it's not real.
Yeah, but you'd be wrong if you tried to model air as an incompressible fluid. Am I wrong?
No, you could model it, but it wouldn't be realistic.
Okay, so I'm wrong when I say that you can model air as an incompressible fluid.
No, you can model air as an incompressible fluid, but it wouldn't be true to reality.
Okay, so this is the bullshit semantics that you flat earthers like to do, and now that you're exposed as a crazy fucking Poe and troll.
But when the maths don't work,
why don't we just
carry on with?
Listen, I could model how many bags of Skittles I could get.
Working or not.
I'm gonna mute percentage because he's being an idiot.
Bro, I could model how many bags of Skittles I could get when two unicorns with,
I don't care if people
leprechauns riding them crash into each other.
Over each other.
It doesn't mean shit.
Can't talk over each other.
It has to be true to reality.
Oh,
you can't mute people.
Somebody let me know. Somebody let me know when I can talk.
Oh no.
So since you asserted Paul's and disparity not to reality, can you
mute him? Just turn him down a little bit.
Dresden, hang on. Let me just give us a minute, folks.
Okay.
Dresden, don't mute him. You need to be able to hear him at least a little bit, if anything.
All right.
Now just carry on with the point.
I'm turning them way down.
Because when people mute each other, it becomes a shit fight in here. And then everyone gets muted.
I understand. I apologize.
Excellent. So, look, Dresden, I mean, it is going to get challenging because you're lying to us. And if you're going to lie to us, we're going to point it out.
How have I lied to you? Demonstrate where I've lied to you.
Well, you're talking about this fluid head. We're talking about gases. You're talking about water. You're saying they're both the same thing. And you have just outlined the differences between the two. So let's stick to the gas that we're talking about. Okay,
so here's the thing: when you are engaged in some sort of exercise in physics, it's incredibly critical, to be precise about what you talk about, what you do. So when you tell me that I'm lying and when I'm being dishonest, that to me is a flag, because
I could feel differently in 10 minutes. It just feels that way right now.
Okay, so here's the thing. When you make that accusation, you're gonna have to demonstrate to me how I'm being dishonest to you.
It just feels that way.
So you feel that I'm being dishonest.
I feel that way, yes.
Because you don't like what I'm saying to you, right?
No, because you're not being direct.
If we're being incredibly precise,
I'm being incredibly
is water
direct.
compressible?
You just don't understand what I'm saying. And I can't hear what percentage is saying because I have him turned way down. So,
Dresden,
be incredibly precise, bro.
I'm just gonna wait for him to stop talking.
What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do about this?
I'm waiting for his mic to stop showing that he's talking.
Yeah, but again, did you not hear what was said?
Go ahead, Dresden.
He wasn't even talking. Was.
No, Tristan was waiting patiently for his mic to go away, and he deliberately left it open.
No, he wasn't even talking.
I just turned it off. I've just turned his mic off so Tristan can finish his point.
So
he is the problem for causing the I can't stand what he's saying. He's this, he's that. I'm not talking. I mean, that can't fly. Was percent is a part of the conversation.
To be fair, he was on a point. Percentage kept pulling him off the point. And he went back to the point, and he said, "I'm not going to talk while Percentage's mic is open." And Percentage deliberately left it open without saying anything to stop him from talking.
That wasn't deliberate,
right? Oh, bullshit, Spurs! You know Percentage better than I do.
Well,
mate.
look,
maybe you don't.
Look,
he did it twice.
If
he did it
Dresden
twice.
had not turned him down, he would have heard that Percent wasn't talking.
Exactly.
Now, come on.
So Percent took advantage of that and stopped him from talking.
That's still not Percent's fault.
It is. He didn't have to do that.
No,
He's
it's
a
not.
grown up.
Dresden
He's a grown up.
Down.
He's a grown up. You didn't have to do that.
Well, no. Like I said, Percent wasn't speaking. Okay.
Exactly my point, you goose.
And if Dresden had him turned up, he would have
Percent
heard that.
wasn't speaking. It's my point.
Well, no. Like I said, it wasn't talking.
No, you don't understand what I'm saying, Spurs. I get what you're saying, and you're wrong.
No, you've abused your mods here. He wasn't talking. You have a right to mute Dresden because he's turned down Percent.
Don't talk to me about abusing mods, you fucking hypocrite.
We've got Dresden turning people down.
I rarely mute people, okay?
Listen to what I'm saying.
And I mute Percentage for a reason, and it was a justified reason.
Listen to what I'm saying. He broke down and said,
I don't go modding and muting people for bullshit reasons like you do, mate. All right? So calm your pants, mate.
My reason is validated. He turned Percent down. He didn't hear that he wasn't even talking, and you muted him because you thought he was talking.
Go ahead, Tristan.
Before he goes ahead, I'd like to explain something really quickly.
Oh, God.
Waz, you stopped the room to explain to him not to mute people and to have me turned up at least to where he can hear me, right? So yes, I was not talking, but he should have been able to discern that because he should have had me up to the point where he could hear me.
You were deliberately trying to stop him, mate. I know your game's Percent.
But that's besides the point because he should have had me turned up to where he could hear me.
Percent, I know your games.
Well,
right? You told him to have me turned up.
I know how you like to joke around. I know how you like to play funny buggers with people, and I know exactly what you were doing, mate. Don't try to twist and turn.
Listen, for a second. You told him to turn me up. Man, you're going against what you said. You said turn him up to where you can hear him.
Was you're not even being fair.
I'm being absolutely fair.
How about we listen to what I have to say for a moment?
Go ahead, Dresden. Sorry.
I could hear 1%.
Dresden? Can you hear Percent when he speaks, whether he's lying or not?
He said he could, mate. He said he could, and that's why he stopped talking.
That's the most.
No, because if he could hear me, then he would have known that I wasn't talking, even if my mic was on.
Up, yes.
Bullshit.
What do you mean bullshit? You told him to turn me up so he could hear me when I was talking.
You're just playing funny buggers, mate.
I tested
know what
him.
The game is. Go ahead, Dresden. Please go ahead.
I had you at a volume where I could hear what you were saying.
forget about the volumes and forget about what people are saying now.
The reason I stopped talking was because his mic was lit up, even though I couldn't hear him talking. But again, beside the point, every time I try to make a point, Chemo has to put in his 2 cents and ask another question or do whatever. So at this point, I don't even know what we're trying to argue because Chemo keeps asking questions it keeps moving the goalposts in one way, shape, or form. So I don't even know at this point what we're trying to argue, other than the fact that he doesn't understand what fluid dynamics is. Period.
Again, I don't need to know any of these
damn
things.
Conversation.
It's not about me. It's not about what I know. It's about what Globers can provide and demonstrate for their claims.
Well, no, it's about you derailing conversations, Chemo, which is what you've been doing. I've been listening for the last hour and a half.
So, Dresden, if you have evidence, you provide that of this fluid head and said, hey, look, this is fluid head in the atmosphere, and this proves that there is a force, and this proves that we're on a ball.
Do you deny that there is an atmospheric pressure gradient?
Again, this is your claim. Why are you asking me?
No, I'm asking you because you refuse to make claims, which is just the quintessential flat earther argument. Oh, I haven't made claims, so I can't be wrong. Now, I'm asking you to confirm something here because this is an assertion. This is an assertion that I'm making. Okay, and I'm asking you to confirm or deny an assertion that I'm making. So if I make an assertion and you deny it, then we can have a conversation. Because if I make an assertion and you say I don't make a claim, what conversation are we having? There's no conversation, right?
Well, unless you provide evidence.
Because if you're not making a claim, we don't have a disagreement, right?
Well, we do have a disagreement because you're claiming something about.
No, because you haven't made a claim yet, right?
Well, you said the atmosphere has pressure. Where did you get that idea from?
The atmosphere has a pressure gradient.
So where did you
I didn't
get that
say the
idea
atmosphere
from?
has a pressure. I
Why
said
do
the
you
atmosphere
think
has a
that?
pressure gradient. Because I watch barometric pressures and I've climbed mountains and I've literally watched the barometric pressure change.
How do you know it wasn't temperature?
How do I know that? Because if the temperature is constant, how does the barometric pressure not change?
Well, when was it constant? The temperature.
Also, do you understand what barometric pressure means?
If it was
do you understand what barometric pressure means?
What does it mean?
Are you going to make me look up the definition of it?
Well, you seem to know what
Of
it
course
means.
he
So
is.
what does it mean?
He's going to make you do everything.
What does it mean? You've just asked me what it means. No, I don't know what it means. What does it mean?
It's another term for atmospheric pressure. And do you know what atmospheric pressure means?
What does it mean?
No.
It's the pressure that the atmosphere exerts on us.
Where does that pressure come from?
That's a really good question. And you would understand if you knew what fluid dynamics were.
It comes from the fluid.
Yes, the fluid of the atmosphere.
Okay, so where does that get its pressure from?
From the weight of the atmosphere.
Well, how does it have weight?
So do you deny that there is an atmospheric pressure
gradient? How do you have weight without a force?
Do you deny that there is an atmospheric pressure gradient?
Again, how would we know that?
Do you deny that there is an atmospheric pressure gradient?
I don't know. I have no idea. I've never been to Mars.
Ever worked on a car at different elevations, Chemo?
Never been to Mars, never been to Jupiter, never saw atmospheric pressure gradient.
That has nothing to do with the atmospheric pressure gradient.
The point is, I'm saying I've never been to these places.
That is a hilarious straw man that has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
My point is saying, have I been to Mars? No, I don't know where it exists. So what are the
No, that's not what we're talking about. The atmosphere on Earth,
right?
Not the atmosphere on Mars.
Do you ask a question real quick to your point? So, do you mind, Dresden?
No, go ahead.
All right, Chemo. All right. Are you aware of the differences in vehicle, regular car, everyday car performance at different elevations, at different altitudes?
No.
Okay. So the average naturally aspirated car, if you take it from a coastal place, say like Alabama, and you take it to Colorado, it's going to lose about 34% to 45% of its power because of less air available.
How do you know this?
If you because I have driven in both, and it's a significant substantial difference. And the people that do the Pikes Peak line that actually handle these vehicles that are high performance vehicles.
Did you document it?
this is documented
So
by
here goes
vehicle
the nonsense.
manufacturers.
I'm
So
asking,
again,
did you do I
you
have to
can
take
do
your word
yourself.
for it then, yeah?
It's not. It doesn't necessarily have to do that, Spurs. Carry on, Hellfire.
So a pressurized system, such as a turbocharger or a supercharger, is a turbocharger is a supercharger. A force induction will actually, provided it has a large enough what's it called, turbine, in there to maintain pressure so that the car doesn't notice really a difference at that altitude versus ground altitude. Well, one, tell you that when those pressures are met and they're the same in the intake system of that vehicle, it can get all the same power, and two, that the composition of the atmosphere is the same. It's just more spread out or less dense. So what that tells you is that the pressure gradient is not because of different gases, because I know some of you like to make that claim, because it's still the same percentage of oxygen, still the same percentage of nitrogen, still the same percentage of carbon dioxide, and still that 1 or 2% of other. Right? So that composition is the same. So there's absolutely a gradient that every person on Earth who ever has a car and has even a monitor that they can hook up to their ODB2 sensor can see what changes are happening to the atmosphere at different elevations. Take a fucking road trip. Once again, a fourth example tonight from me to you of something you can do yourself.
It's
nice
an
story,
OBD.
bro.
It's
nice
an OBD too.
Yeah.
So
It's an ODB, old dirty bastard.
Also in the Pacific Northwest, you wouldn't know anything about this because you're not American, but Audis and Subarus are very, very popular in the Pacific Northwest.
Yep.
Why might that be?
Tristan, just tell us.
It's because the majority of them have force induction, i.e., they have turbos or superchargers, which compensate for this degradation in the atmospheric pressure.
Right.
Which is what Hellfire Hammer was just talking about.
We love a sexy air scoop.
This is why in climates like that, cars with force induction are more popular and more reliable.
But are you guys claiming then that we live in a container now? Then?
No. What does it have to do? So how do you draw that conclusion based on what he said?
Because you said there's pressure. Where does the pressure come from? We know that
the pressure comes from fluid head, which is what we just talked about. This is the entire reason we were talking about fluid head to begin with.
Well, show me a demonstration of fluid head causing pressure.
Holy shit, dude! I feel like I'm talking to a handicapped person because we've already talked about this.
No, you haven't provided a demonstration.
We've literally talked about how the pressure increases as you go deeper into water. That's a demonstration of fluid head. Do you deny that happens?
Oh my gosh. We are talking about
do you
atmosphere.
deny that it happens? If you go deeper into water, the pressure increases.
Do we live in water?
Do you deny that the pressure increases the deeper you go in water?
Do we live in water?
Dude, just answer the question. Going around in circles.
Chemo, will you keep running him around in circles?
Because he's talking about water. We're talking about
this is why I feel like I feel like I have to keep asking the same question. I'm sorry.
Ask your question, Dresden. Ask your question one more time, and Spurs will answer it.
Well, let me say this before you answer. Water has a container.
Damn it.
The atmosphere doesn't.
Are you kidding me?
So because the water is in a container, you'll get your fluid head or whatever you're talking about.
It doesn't matter whether water is a container
because there is
or
no
not.
container to provide pressure.
It has nothing to do with
let me ask a follow-on question with the water. In a pool of water, where is that pressure coming from?
Nothing to do with the container.
Hold on. But I'm gonna point this out. All right. So the pressure gradient in a pool, since you mentioned water in a container, all right, is still vertical. All right. By your logic, Chemo, if pressure is made by the container, then the pressure on the outside of the pool at the surface of the water should be greater than the pressure on the inside of the pool at the surface of the water. But that is not where the gradient is. The gradient is still vertical.
Further, if that were the case, a smaller pool would have a more significant pressure gradient.
Yeah, I don't know what you just said or what you want about. But talking about the water, to have pressure, you need a container.
That's an admission that I don't understand what fluid dynamics is. Bingo. There we go.
We're not
Done.
talking about water in a container.
End of conversation.
We're not talking about
End
water in
of No, we're talking about fluids, which there's a correlation between water and the atmosphere because they're both fluids, which you would understand if you understood fluid dynamics, which you do not.
Well,
so
water,
end of conversation.
Water requires containers for pressure. Gases do not. Have atmosphere.
Oh, so gases do not require a pressure container. That's interesting because that's contrary to what you had asserted before.
You can have gases in the atmosphere with no pressure. Put those gases,
so there's no dome?
Put those gases in a container, you will get pressure.
Okay, so there's no dome.
No.
Okay, so what creates the atmospheric pressure then if there's no dome?
I just told you need a container for pressure.
Okay, so if there's no dome, what is the container that creates atmospheric pressure?
Something wrong with you?
You said there's no dome, but then you said there's a container.
No.
So I'm a little confused because you're talking out of both sides of your mouth.
In order for the gas to be pressurized, you need a container.
Okay, what is that container?
Any container.
Any container.
Yeah.
So if I put like a Rubbermaid container above my head, that would be the dome?
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
Get gas pressure, you need a container.
Just playing your game, Chemo.
We don't live in a container, you've just said. Therefore, no.
You're
pressure.
right, we don't live... Alright, that's the first thing you said, that's right. We don't live in a container.
Therefore,
awesome.
no pressure.
I'm glad to have extracted that admission from you.
So therefore,
alright, so
no.
Except for the pressure they measure from...
We're getting closer to common ground. This is awesome.
Yeah, no container. We don't live in a container, that's right.
Oh, we don't live in a container.
No.
So what creates
don't need a
fluid pressure
container
then?
Again, there's something wrong with you. You need a container for pressure.
But we don't. Okay, so there's atmospheric pressure is so atmospheric pressure is created magically because we don't live in a container. But you need a container to create pressure.
Right. So
okay.
So try to use your brain.
Understood.
For pressure, you need a container. Don't live in a container.
Okay. Do we live? Is there a dome that contains our pressure?
No.
Okay. So, if there's no container or dome that contains our atmosphere, what creates the atmospheric pressure?
There is no pressure. We don't breathe.
You need a container for pressure.
So what is the container that creates atmospheric pressure? This is a very simple question, dude.
You need a container for pressure.
Okay, if we need a container for pressure, what creates the pressure of the atmosphere? Because the atmospheric pressure, as I understand it, is roughly 14.7 psi atmospheric. Or absolute, rather. I'm sorry, absolute.
Where does that pressure come from?
That is a really damn good question, and it's something that you seem to be very confused about.
Well, go on then, measure the pressure and tell me where it came from.
The atmospheric pressure at grade is roughly 14.7 psi.
Okay.
Absolute.
Where does the pressure come from?
That's a really damn good question because you keep saying that a dome or a container is required, but then you say that it's not required. And honestly, you're confusing me because I thought I understood fluid dynamics, and clearly I don't. No, dude. Like, you're the one who's educating me because I don't understand fluid dynamics.
Let's try this again.
So here's the
gas pressure. You need a container.
Okay, so what is the container?
What is
the container then?
Without the container.
What is the container then?
Dresden.
What is the container? If atmospheric pressure requires a container, what is the container?
Try to listen.
You can laugh at me all you want, but you know this destroys your entire argument. What is the container?
Without the container.
What is the container?
There is no pressure.
What is a container?
There's no atmospheric pressure?
So there's no atmospheric pressure.
Is there a container?
Okay, so we exist in a 0 psi.
Is there a container?
That's a really good question. Do you think there's a container?
No, we've never seen a container.
Okay, so what creates atmospheric pressure on your worldview?
There's something seriously wrong with you, isn't there?
He doesn't think there
Very
is
simple
any
question.
atmospheric pressure, Dresden.
There's something wrong with you, Dresden. Without
That's
the
the problem.
container,
He doesn't believe there is any
no
atmospheric pressure.
pressure.
There's no pressure.
Without the container.
What?
So we
okay,
have a container.
so we live in a zero pressure atmosphere.
Without the container,
So
is
your opinion
no
is that we live in a
pressure.
zero pressure atmosphere.
Do we have a container?
I'm not the one who's supposed to answer that question
You're saying
because
there's
it's
pressure.
completely,
So
it's
is that because
completely
you live in a
asinine.
container?
Chemo, for small things, yes. For the size of the planet, no, you don't need one.
Gravity is the container.
But without the container,
I said it.
there
I
is
said
no
the G
pressure.
word.
No, don't
Crucify
do that.
me.
Don't do
The
that.
molecules of the atmosphere pushing on top of each
Alcohol.
other is the container.
I mean, I really hope that anybody listening to this conversation can recognize the hilarious nature of the whole flat Earth argument.
What's more hilarious is that people on his team are still going to root him on, despite the fact that he's
They
getting
think he's
trampled.
won. They think he's won.
No, we haven't finished yet. I'm trying to figure out
And
where
more
you keep on
hilarious one is that
invoking
he's
pressure.
probably not even a flat
So I'm
earther.
asking you, where does the pressure come from? If you're saying there's no container, where does
We've
it come
already
from?
Fluid head, dude. We've already talked about this.
Okay. So
this
fluid,
is why I brought up the
dude, slow
entire
it down.
fluid
So
head
you're saying
argument.
fluid head causes pressure. Can you demonstrate fluid head causing gas
Holy
pressure?
shit. Like, am I talking to a retard? Honestly, I feel like I'm talking to a retard.
Right, can you
And
demonstrate? I'll say it nice and
I
slowly
hate to use
for
that
you,
word,
so you can
but this guy
understand me.
literally has a
you
learning disability.
Demonstrate gas pressure with fluid head. Can you do
This
that?
guy he's literally got a learning disability. I'm sorry, but I can't keep doing this.
Right. Can you show?
We've already talked about this, dude.
Can you provide a demonstration of gas
Yes!
pressure?
Water.
Gas pressure. Let me say it slowly.
We're not talking about gas pressure. We're talking about fluid head.
Can you show me gas pressure with fluid head as the container?
I think I figured out this. I think I figured out what's going on here. I think I figured out what's going on here. He thinks that because he's got this English accent that he can just spew a bunch of bullshit, and people will believe him because he's not American.
A simple question. I'm not saying anything. I'm only asking
It's not
questions.
it is a simple question, and I've answered the simple
with
question.
Fluid head.
I've answered the simple question, but
With
you don't
water.
seem to understand it.
With water.
Yes, I've already answered it and I've explained it. This is not a hard concept to understand. I understood it as a fucking 4-year-old, and you don't seem to get it.
Let's just be clear again.
Chemo.
So gas pressure is caused by.
We're talking about
fluid,
atmospheric
water
pressure and fluid head,
fluid
not
head,
gas
sorry.
pressure. Gas pressure is a different phenomenon. But okay, so I don't even know where to go from here. Like
this is so annoying.
Yes, I agree.
Here you go.
This is
Just tell
super
him to
annoying.
read that, and he'll be able to read the difference between gas pressure and a variance of gas pressure, and actually creating a vacuum with gas pressure in the
I
same
think
cylinder with an accelerated force.
You're giving him a lot of credit.
No. Just let him read. He'll read. He'll disregard it. But otherwise,
dude,
you're going in circles.
Hellfire, I don't know that he can read.
I understand that, but it's on him. He
Not
can
about
learn.
me. It's about what you guys can provide.
I tell you what, Chemo, why don't you read that while I go take a leak, and I'll be right back.
Alright, I'll catch you in a short while. But I mean, look, that's where we are, fellas and ladies. A lot of claims are being made. You think mathematics explains a lot of this nonsense? There is no observation.
Here comes Chemo's summary of what he thinks happened, while everyone is going, "Man, you didn't say shit."
Well, we're still here right now, active. We're still trying to find a practical demonstration of what you're claiming. That water,
No, you're not.
Water head, fluid
I've
head.
given you 4 examples of things you can do yourself, and
But
apparently
what about
you can't do those.
doing them? Have you ever done this?
Yeah, I already told you I did the things with the
Why
peaks
didn't you
and distances
document
and
it?
the elevation. I have shared the pictures of my geocam showing the peak of Rainier from where I'm at the airfield. And I've shown the actual calculations that I did. I've done that multiple times.
Calculations? We're not interested in calculations.
Of course you're not, because you're not you're not interested in measurements.
We're not ball earthers who
Where?
just blindly look at numbers and make up any old model.
Yeah, math. That
No,
math thing again,
I made a
right?
prediction, and then I made a measurement, which is 2 things more than you've ever done.
No, we
in
don't
this
do
topic,
things like
so.
that around here in the player community.
You don't do anything at all.
Well, not
so
like
you
that.
just
Not
stare,
like that.
Don't ask for demonstrations then.
You just stare out into space and go, Durka, it looks fucking flat.
Well, that's better than just going boop 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 boop. Oh, ball, space time, bending, warping, flying through space.
Oh, you mean boop 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 calculations, then go making observations, disproving what they said, or validating what they said,
All right,
making
then,
more
let's have a look at
calculations
the
and
Earth
building
spinning
something.
then. Fine.
Yeah, that's totally legit.
Fine,
That's
let's have a
totally, you
look at
can
the Earth
dismiss
spinning.
it.
Let's have a look at this observation.
That's totally legit.
Fine,
Let's do
see the
nothing.
Earth spinning, moving,
Do nothing
rotating.
at all, and that is better than doing a lot of things. Got it.
Fine, I'll accept I'll take your word for it. Let's take a look at one of these objects flying around the Earth. Let's
Wait,
look from space.
Dresden, hang on. Before you start, Dresden, have you washed your hands?
Yeah, of course.
Don't seem like it.
I'm not a
Hey,
fucking pig.
you want to see an object flying around the Earth? Okay, download the ISS app and then see when it's going to go over your area, and then look up in the sky during that time, and you'll see a thing flying around the Earth. Congratulations, something else you
Just
can
an
do.
aeroplane in the sky, so what?
That's now 5 things that I've offered you
What,
tonight
an
that you can do that you
aeroplane?
refuse to do. An airplane does not move that fast. If something moved that fast in the atmosphere and got
How
across
fast
the
is it
sky in that
moving?
amount of time, it would burn up.
How fast is it moving?
How fast is it moving?
Yeah, the ISS.
From one end of the horizon to the other? I mean, you tell me. You tell me how high that thing is.
No, how fast is it moving?
It's stated that it's moving, I think, either 17,000 miles or 17 miles per hour or kilometers per hour. I don't remember which one.
It's roughly 17,500 miles an hour.
Because people have actually done their own independent things from 2 different locations.
What people?
And observed that thing moving across.
What people?
Chemo.
Who was it? Was it Red's Rhetoric and someone else?
It's not even independent people doing these things. It's the people
Alright,
who
so
are
tell me then, what
who
was
are
it?
actually
How do you measure the speed? Red.
How do they measure the speed? Well, when you're in one location and someone else is in another location.
Mathematics again.
Oh, let me finish. This is that math that you refuse to do. If you're in one location and someone else is in another location, and you know the distance between those locations, and you both look at the same object, and you know how far that object is, okay, then you time it, and you say, all right, from this time to this time, now that object is over there. Guess what?
How
You
do
can
you
actually
know how
make
high
a
that
deduction as how
object is?
fast it was moving.
How do you know how high the object is?
How triangulation works, Chemo. You don't need to know the fucking angular size of something to figure out how far it is.
I'm asking,
and that's
I'm asking you to walk me through it. How did you figure out how high the ISS was?
Here's the thing, though. If you can predict where it's going to be,
Hammer, hold on a second there, Dresden.
In 2 hours.
Hold on, Dresden. Hammer's saying something. He's explaining how we know how high ISS is.
Again, triangulation. Point A, point B, distance between point A and B. Point C, target, angle from point A to point C, angle from point B to point C. You take those measurements and you can get a distance of the height of that point C from perpendicular to where point A and P.
So you're on the ground. What's the next thing you'll do?
Are you confused about triangulation?
I'm asking you, you're on the ground. What's the
I just described it.
He doesn't understand what triangulation is.
Rudimentary form. And if you can't again, I can't help you. That is not 6 things that I have offered for you to do in one evening that you refuse to do yourself.
No, Chemo.
You can't help me if I say to you, what's the first, we go outside, what's the first thing we're going to do?
No, Chemo, you want to learn math, you get a private teacher and learn math.
No, not learning, we're learning how to do a practical observation and measurement.
We tried several times, it didn't work, you don't get it.
Hammer, go on, we go outside.
Chemo, stop asking. I can't possibly break it down more simply than that. I would have to go back to teaching you
if you tell me the first
grade
step. What is
to
the first
6th grade
step?
to 7th grade math before you even get into geometry. If you can't grasp that, then I'm not going to spend 4 weeks of math tutoring of basic math like I've helped my kids. I don't know. I just told you how to do it.
What is the first step?
Your lack of understanding is not my problem.
He's so special. This is so funny. I just...
Well, that's strange because you guys don't seem to know anything about your own model and how you would measure it.
Well,
so what's the first step? You go outside.
Chemo, if we're going to talk about our own models,
you need a picture, Chemo. Do you want me to draw you a picture?
No. Here, let's talk about our own models for a moment, because this is something that I brought up against Chemo the other day, and he had literally no response. What do you...
Excuse me, new guys. Okay.
Yeah, what up?
You guys, you're making a fundamental fuck up right now, okay? The amount of times that our mate down here, Chemo, has heard exactly this...
Okay, again, Davros...
That's why I stopped explaining it.
Other adults do not need advice on how to speak to other adults.
Dude, come on.
Most adults don't need math tutoring by the time they're fucking 40 either, so...
when it comes to your
muted Davros?
When it comes to your mathematics, it doesn't comport with reality.
It's not my mathematics. It's basic trigonometry.
That's why we asked you to explain it and break it down.
I did. It was over your head. Sorry.
I recall you were explaining.
Why does Chemo have the ability to mute
people? 2 days ago, and you keep forgetting.
Doesn't matter, Davros. I don't need advice either. And to stop the conversation to say, "Hey guys, this is how you should talk to other people."
Okay, so you're literally muting people who disagree with you. Good to see.
Not about who disagree with you.
No, that's literally what you're doing.
He
that's
just said he was
doing.
agreeing with me, not you.
And dude, that's Are you serious? Are you serious?
Look in the text chat there. Can't you read?
This fucking guy, dude. Like, it's so funny. Oh my god.
Anyway. All we're looking for is a way of measuring the things that you guys say are happening in the real world. And what we're finding is that you don't even know how yourself. If we ask you, how do you measure to the ISS? Oh, wow, I'm not too sure. I don't know what the first step is.
So you completely ignored it. I just told you, not my problem.
Right, first step. What is the first step? Go outside, then what?
I'm not going to explain it again. I'm not going to explain point A, B, and C and the distance between A and B, any angles. You already got that explanation. Sorry, it's over your head.
You're about to use presuppositions. That's why. When we
There's
break
no
it down
presupposition.
bit by bit,
The only presupposition doesn't even exist because you know the distance between A and B. That's it.
Yeah,
I'm going to drive down this road. I'm going to drive down this road 60 miles.
Yeah, is that over curvature or over a flat
That's
plane?
actually going a distance. So there's no presuppositions there.
Is that over a curved surface or a flat plane?
You can do both, okay? So you can do 3 points and get even more accurate. And now you got to figure out, if you're looking at the same object, are those points converging to the same point in space? Figure it out.
That's what
Which model works?
That's not for us to figure out. We understand it's just a plane very low in the sky. Space is not a real place, so we're asking you to demonstrate that these things are in space.
You just made a claim. I thought you didn't make claims.
Yeah, we don't make claims.
Would you like to? You just said space isn't a real thing. Yeah. That's a claim, Chemo. I would like to substantiate. I would like for you to substantiate that.
That's a negative.
There's absolutely a claim. How is that not a claim?
Not a claim.
No,
isn't.
Space is not a thing. That's a claim. Sorry,
it's not.
I'm done with you, Chemo.
Not.
Queen says we're done with you.
So when you say this bicycle is not a bicycle, that is not a claim.
If it's not a bicycle, if you say it is a bicycle, prove it's a bicycle.
If you take space and you say this space is not a space, that's not a claim.
Yes, if you say something is, then you should demonstrate that it is.
That is the most asinine thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
Well, that's down to you to prove that it is.
So it's up to me to prove that you're a completely asinine fool who draws us into pedantic circles. Because that's the only thing that you have going in your life right now?
Well, right now, we expose the globe lies and the globers that come with it.
Oh, yeah.
What we do is silence the critics.
You've exposed the fact that you don't understand fluid dynamics. That's really all you've done.
Show
That's
that
really,
you guys
that's
don't
really
know
all
what you're
you've done.
talking about.
Or refraction.
You don't understand
Or
geometry. You
engines.
don't understand trig. You don't understand fluids. You don't understand literally any of the squiggly, scary maths that is required to understand
If it was
any
necessary,
of these things.
then I would.
Yo, Dresden, take it from me. Your bitch definitely understands fluids.
You okay?
That was clever.
My bitch understands fluids because I taught her fluids.
That was actually pretty funny.
That was funny. So yes, guys. Like I say, we will always be
That
standing.
was a summary, the bullshit summary of whatever. Meantime, he ain't proud of nothing. Good job.
And again, do you think you provided anything substantial?
I brought a lot of things.
Derp,
And all we got
derp,
from
I'm
you is
chemo.
I'm not
I
answering.
still don't understand things. Derp, I'm chemo. Derp, 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 derp.
I don't
We got
need
our
to
summary into.
understand
No,
anything in
summary's
your
complete.
model.
Summary's complete, chemo. You gave your summary, we gave ours. Conversation's over.
I don't
I'm going
need
to
to
bed.
understand it because it's not real.
Derp, 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 derp,
If it was
derp, derp.
real, then you would demonstrate it. Then we could start to study it. There's no need to study something that doesn't exist.
So, Kimo, you admit you're not here to understand it, so why you ask us to explain it?
We're asking for the practical
Why
demonstration
are you
of your
not here to
claim.
understand it anyway?
We need the practical demonstration to observe it.
No, but you're not here to understand it.
What's to understand?
Whatever you say, you're not here to understand.
You need to observe it, right? You observe things, that's how you know it, right?
If you observe them, doesn't mean you understand them. That's obvious.
Well, then you can start to understand it after you see it.
No, but you're not here to understand
Yes,
them. Then
Chikey.
it doesn't
After
matter
you
if you
observe
observe
it,
them.
then you can
Is it?
understand it. Not the other way
No,
around.
no,
Not
but
try to
you're not
understand
here
it
to
first
understand them.
and then observe it.
You will observe it. You're not here to understand it. You will not understand it.
No,
Even
you're
you
doing things
observe it.
backwards, Chikey. You don't
No,
understand it and
you
then
said
observe it. You observe
You
it
said
and then
it.
understand
I'm
it.
not here to understand it. You said it, Kimo. It's on tape.
Yeah, you're doing things backwards, Chikey.
I'm not.
You're saying understand it first and then observe it.
No, it's not what
You
I'm
need to
saying. I'm
observe
saying you're
it
not here.
first and then we can understand it.
No, I'm saying you admitted just now you're not here to understand it. So it doesn't matter whether we provide
I'm not
you
here
the
to understand
observation.
your poetry,
It doesn't
that's right.
matter if you provide you the observation.
That's
Kimo.
correct. I'm not here to understand your poetry, your religion.
So why are
I'm
you
here
asking?
to observe the
Why are you
miracles in
asking
your
then?
religion. That's right.
Why are
Once we
you
observe
asking
the
us to
miracles,
explain it?
then we can understand your miracles. Not
Why-
before.
But you're not here to understand it, Kimo.
No, we're here to observe the miracles.
What does that mean?
So once we observe the miracle of rotation, curvature, gas pressure without a container, vacuums next to gas pressure, vacuums
So
without
there's
a
a container.
But you've been shown that over and over and over
Once
again.
we observe these miracles, then we can try to understand these things.
no
but
one
not
claims
first, where you
all
just say,
those
believe
things-
my religion, and then go
all
out
those-
there with your
Manifest.
hypnotized,
All those
indoctrinated
things
eyes.
you said, no one claims. So why should
Miracle
we?
of Flight 828.
Yeah, the miracle, like I say, of the Earth turn. The Earth is moving. That would take a miracle to move the Earth.
Well, I mean, I'm a religious person, so I believe my God isn't an idiot and he's able to design a self-sustaining system, so there's that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what your religion tells you, yeah. Any better? I didn't mean
Okay,
Dresden this
you
time.
want to tell me, Kimo, that you God, if you wanted, couldn't make a spinning globe?
I think, Dresden, because you were
Not
making those
within
funny
its
noises
capability.
earlier on,
We
and
can't
you
do
thought I
this.
was going to mute you, but I didn't mute you. I just let you carry on. And another mod is there are other mods here, and they will take action if you break. Because you want to attack me, you think you can just. But there are other mods on site. So be aware.
Yes.
Be aware of that.
So your God cannot make spinning balls.
No, God. Oh, no, we're gonna get into religion now, but yeah, God made the flat Earth not moving, and yeah.
I'm not asking what he made. I asked if he wanted to. He couldn't make
We
a
can't
spinning
measure
ball.
that.
Oh, we're gonna get into religion now. Are you all conceding the globe now? Then, yeah.
No,
Conceding there's
we're
no
just
curvature,
saying your
no
God seems
rotation.
kind of dumb.
I mean, we can get into religion, but it's just. Are you saying that we've given up the globe, given up rotation, given up curve?
No, we've given
space?
up on you, Chemo. We've given up on you.
Well, when we have the facts, the figures, the numbers,
Which you have none of. I get that.
Well, the fact is the Earth is not spinning. That's a
The
fact.
fact is, you just made another claim that you've yet to substantiate.
Not.
No. You've made two claims now. You've made a claim that the space isn't real, and you've made a claim that the Earth is unmoving. So,
is not a
would you like to
claim.
back up those claims?
Not a positive.
Yeah, so if I make a claim, I point to a car and I say, this is not a bicycle. Can I prove that it's not a bicycle?
No, they didn't bother me.
So can I prove that it's not a bicycle, Kima? I wasn't talking about you. I was talking about me.
No, I'm saying the noise didn't bother me, but like I said, there
is
are
about
other
me.
mods that may take
So
action.
there are things that you say not, and you can prove them. Those
what
are
you
for
saying,
survival.
yeah.
Those are for survival. And saying the Earth is not spinning is for survival.
Earth is not. Why would you think the Earth is moving?
You say it is not. That doesn't mean you can't prove it.
Look, why do you think the Earth is moving?
Why do you think it's not?
Don't feel it.
Coriolis happens.
Don't feel it. Why do you think it is?
I don't think I need to feel it.
So why do you think it's moving then?
I see it.
You see it moving Earth? Where? When?
Yep. I look around. I see it's moving.
You look around and see the Earth moving?
Right.
Where? Where is this? Where do you see the Earth moving? Where is it?
I look at the sky. I see it's moving.
You look in the sky and see the Earth moving?
Right.
So you look up. Is that from the reflection of the moon?
No, it's sky.
How do you look in the sky and see the Earth? What's below your feet moving?
I see the sky moving. Therefore, I must be moving, right?
I don't know. I'm saying that you've seen it.
I don't know.
The Earth
Anytime I see something moving,
because you look around and you see the Earth moving. Now you're changing it to the sky is moving. So what is it? The sky moving or the Earth moving?
Look, if I look at the out the window and I see the Earth moving, I know the Earth is not moving. It's me, right?
I know what you're saying. Is the Earth moving or not? You said you look around and you see
Yeah,
it moving.
it is.
What location do you see the Earth moving in?
Anywhere I am, I can see it moving.
Give me an example. Like where? Where can we go and see the
Like
movement?
where I am right now.
Right now, the Earth is
Right.
moving.
Mm-hmm.
Well, show me then.
You look at the sky.
No,
Sun
the
is
Earth,
there,
the Earth, Chikey, not the sky, the Earth.
That's how I see
Earth.
know if I'm moving or not, Kima.
You look at the sky and you
outside.
can somehow
I look
see the
outside.
Earth. How are
Right.
you doing this?
I look outside, Kima.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how you look up and see the Earth. How do you see the Earth when you look up?
I don't see the Earth. I see the outside, Kima.
But you said you saw the Earth moving when you look up.
Yeah, that's how I see the Earth moving, by looking outside.
How do you see the Earth moving when you're looking
I
away
look
from
outside,
the Earth?
Kimo. How many times I need to repeat it?
What?
You're in a train. You don't know if you're moving. You look outside.
No, I'm talking
You know
about
if
not a
you're
train.
moving,
I'm
Kimo.
talking about the Earth. You said.
Yes, I'm in a train called Earth.
No,
I
you
look
said you
outside,
look
I
up
see
and
it's
see
moving.
You're changing your story minute by minute. Are you
No,
messing me
no.
around?
That's how I know.
One
that
minute you
I'm
talk about
moving, Kimo, by
sky.
looking
Next minute
outside
you
the
talk about
window.
trains. Do you see trains in the sky?
That's how I know. I'm on a train. I don't
the
know
sky.
if I'm moving. I can't feel
Hold
if
on.
I'm moving.
Wait.
Look
Can I look in the
outside,
sky
you know.
and see the train moving?
I don't need to go outside to see the train moving.
No, but can
tell
I look
if the
at
train
the
is moving
sky
when
and
I'm
see the train
inside by
moving?
looking outside, Kimo.
Can I look in the sky and see the train moving?
No, you can see the Earth moving.
By looking in the sky, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Outside.
You look at the sky and you see the Earth moving.
Right.
How?
Just I need to repeat it again, Kimo.
Where is, if I look up, how do I see the
same
Earth?
as if I'm in a train and I don't know if I'm moving. I look outside and I know.
You know what?
If I'm moving or not.
But we're talking
Things
about the Earth.
outside
How do you know
don't
the
move
Earth is
relative
moving?
to the train. I know the train is not moving.
You said you saw the Earth moving.
Yes.
Yes. So how did you see the Earth?
How many times you're going to
moving?
repeat the same question and you will get the same answer, Kimo?
So you're saying that you looked
Not
in the
going,
sky.
going nowhere, because I will give you the same answer.
Yeah, I'm just trying to be
every
clear, so you
time.
can't
I'm not
say
going to
I didn't
change
say
it.
that. You're going to say I didn't
I'm
say
not going
that. I
to
didn't
change
say
it.
that.
So if you don't get it, Move on.
I'm being clear because you're going to say I didn't say that.
Move on. Yes, I was very clear.
You look in the
Earth
sky
is moving
and you can see
by
the
looking
Earth.
outside. It's not going to change, Kino.
Yeah, you can look in the sky and you can see the Earth moving.
Right.
By looking at the sky, yeah?
Right.
So where is the Earth when you look up?
Under me.
So how do you see the Earth by looking up?
Just as I do in the train, Kimo.
No, how do you see the
No,
Earth?
Kimo, this is going nowhere. You will ask the same question and I will answer the same answer.
I'm talking about the Earth, not a train.
So if you can't get this analogy, move on.
How do you see...
I'm not going to answer again, Kimo.
You haven't answered it yet.
No, I have. Multiple times.
You spoke about trains. I'm asking about the Earth.
Yeah, that was analogy.
So how do you see the Earth by looking up?
Can't understand its analogy. I can't do any more for you, Kimo.
Yeah, well, try something out. How do you see the Earth when it's in the opposite direction?
I don't see the Earth.
You just said I see the Earth moving.
Right.
So how do you see the Earth moving? By looking up.
I already told you.
By getting on the train?
No.
So what then?
The train was an analogy, Kimo.
I get on the train, I think one is moving, one's not moving. So I get on the Earth, I look up.
No, I didn't see what is moving. I said I don't know if it's moving. I look outside.
You don't know, and then what?
You need to listen when I talk.
You get on the train, tell me about the train thing.
No, I'm not going to repeat it. If you want, you can go to the feed on YouTube and listen to it again.
Okay, so you're saying you want a train, you don't know if it's moving or what is moving. How does that train thing tell you about the Earth is moving? You went from, I see the Earth by looking around, to then I look up, and then I get on a train. So your logic is, yes, I see the Earth moving around me. Then no, I don't look around me, I look up. And then no, I get on a train. And then I get off the train, and now I know the Earth is moving.
No, you got it all wrong here. Go listen to the
What does
feed.
the train have to do with the
listen
Earth?
to the feed again. And if you don't get it, listen to it again. And again until you get it.
But I'm asking, why on the train would I think the Earth is moving? That was really quick, Chuck. You biting the dust already.
No, just not.
Why would the train analogy make me think the Earth is moving?
I don't know, Kimo. That's my experience. That's how I tell if things move or not.
By getting on a train.
I don't know how you do it, but that's how I do it.
So you know the Earth. What did they do before trains?
They had wagons.
They had what? Dragons.
Horses, yes.
Horses. So you're on one horse, and the man sitting on the horse thought he was moving because the other horse was riding past him. Chike, are you saying they sat on one horse? I'm on a horse, I'm still. You ride past me the opposite way, and I think, whoa, slow down, horse, slow down, whoa, you're moving. Then I realise, oh, no, it's Chike actually going past me. Is that what will happen?
No, you got it a bit wrong.
Oh, a bit wrong. So what happens? I'm on my horse. Let's have a train of horses. I'm on a train of horses, like in a long row. And then a train of horses go past the other way. Do I think I'm moving?
No. Don't look at the train, Kimo.
Pardon?
Don't look at the train of horses. Look at the mountains. The hills around you.
The hills now tell me that we're moving.
Yeah.
Mountains. Okay, this is a good one. Let's hear this. How do the mountains and hills tell us that we're moving?
Really, Kimo?
Yeah, I'm ready.
What if the wind blows your head off?
So we went from trains to mountains and hills. hills and mountains now tell us that we're moving. Yeah?
Yes, Timo. I
How?
suggest you go outside. I can't explain to you. You need to go outside and experience the world, Timo.
So you go outside, look at a mountain, and that will tell you if the Earth is moving.
No, you can't just say it. You need to go outside and see what happens when you move.
Look what happens when I move.
Yes. Even if it's not about you, you need to experience.
But when I move, I can feel that I'm moving.
You can feel that you're moving. Seriously, how? How do you feel you're moving?
Like now, I'm not moving. I'm still. If I start walking, I will be moving.
You said. Well, you feel you're walking, not that you're moving. How do you know
does
that
me
you're
walking
moving?
prove the Earth is spinning?
How do you know that you're moving when you're walking?
How do I know if I'm moving?
And you don't push the Earth under you, away from you.
How do I know if I'm moving or not?
Yeah, right.
What are you asking? How do you know if you're still or if you're moving?
Right.
Well, you start moving. You feel it. It's called senses.
I don't feel nothing. What do you feel?
Movement, the body, the bones.
The bones moving. But are you moving?
Are my bones moving? Yeah?
Your bones moving. But are you moving? The rest of your body?
No, my bones.
Who told you have bones in there, Chemo?
An X-ray.
Yeah, you tested it yourself.
An X-ray, a CGI image. Oh, cool. No worries.
Yeah, nice. Cool. So how does this prove we're moving,
So you
Chaiki?
believe it, do you?
Yeah, because when you break a bone, you can see the break in the same place.
How?
With an X-ray.
X-ray. Do you know why they called them X-rays?
Do you?
Yeah, because they didn't know what to call it.
What to name it?
Yeah.
So
No, that's the actual reason they're called
what?
X-rays. They didn't know what to call it.
So?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're believing something that they didn't know how to name it. That's an actual image from inside your body. You're an idiot.
This is crazy. Right, Chaiki, how do you know we're moving?
I asked you.
We're
You
not
said you
moving.
know
The
you're
Earth is
moving.
not moving.
You said I told you how I know I'm moving.
You said
You
by
didn't
mountains.
explain how you do. You
Why
say
does
I
this sound
feel.
like an Abbott Costello sketch with Who's on First?
You say there are mountains and hills. How do mountains and hills tell us that the Earth is moving, Chaiki?
The sun does.
No, Chaiki didn't say that. He hasn't got there yet. First he said look at the sky, then he said look around, then he said trains,
Oh, yes.
then he said not to use a train of horses, and now he's saying mountains and hills. He'll get there eventually with the sun, but he's not quite
Trained
there
horses.
I think Chemo's being led down the garden path by
But why
Chaiki here.
are you presuming the sun?
I didn't mention the sun.
Okay.
I
Who mentioned
did,
the
Terry.
sun?
You just did.
I did.
Hannah mentioned the sun, and I said Chaiki hasn't got there yet. He will get there. But right now we'll focus on the mountains and hills. How do mountains and hills tell us that the Earth is moving?
Did I say that?
Mountains and hills. That's the last thing you said. Mountains and hills.
Did I say they tell us the Earth is moving?
That's what we're talking about. How do we know the Earth is moving? You said mountains and
But
hills.
I didn't say they tell us the Earth is moving.
Why did you mention mountains and hills?
To know if I'm moving.
He did bite the dust, I know. He was desperate when Hannah came in with the sun thing. He was like, oh, yes, the sun. All right, CB. Anyway, I'm going to make a quick cup of tea now.
I want to know which way the train's going.
Yeah, carry